Earlier today, congressional Republicans introduced legislation to protect children from experimental gender reassignment surgeries, as well as prevent the use of taxpayer money from paying for elective gender reassignment surgeries. Now, many on the left, like MSNBC's Ali Velshi, is claiming it's right-wing politics.
This is the flavor du jour of right-wingers in this country who need something to cause people to feel morally panicked about, to get to the polls, to activate.
The reality is that those who know what is going on and care about protecting children are not going to sit idly by and watch this happen. Well, joining me now to discuss this is Congressman Doug Lamalfa, who introduced today the Protecting Children from Experimentation Act and the End Taxpayer Funding of Gender Experimentation Act. He represents the 1st Congressional District of California, which is actually a beautiful country up there. Doug, welcome to Washington Watch. Good to see you.
Tony, thanks for having me.
So tell us about the legislation that you introduced along with our good friend, Dr. Roger Marshall, Senator from Kansas. You know, a decade ago, this topic seemed inconceivable, but today it seems to be taking our young people by storm.
You're absolutely right. You don't even have to be Sicilian for it to be inconceivable, for your Princess Bride reference there. But it's crazy. And if you're not paying attention to this, if you're not angry by this, well, then you're sitting it out. So we introduced this in the last legislative session. But under the Pelosi regime, of course, that wasn't going to go anywhere. But my issue is that this is something that's absolutely necessary to protect our kids and protect them from the ghouls that would do this. You know, giving these kids hormones or surgery or just in general encouraging them to jump across to a place where they're not going to be successful in life. I'm sure the rates of suicide are just many-fold over when people have been told, whether as kids or as adults have had this transition surgery and such, that this is going to be the cure-all for how you feel like you don't fit in and such.
Right.
We need to take people aside and show we care about them and lead them down the right path and show them that the physics aren't going to change of who you are, how you were born. And so it's, we had this at a school board meeting in Chico, California, where the board was moving to keep things secret from parents. You've heard about that one too.
Right.
On their child going in for counseling, and an hour later, she's being introduced as a boy with a boy's name to her teacher in her classroom. How's that privacy? They outed that girl after a short amount of time of, contemplating the situation. So here, our two bills, one would be focused on cutting government funding for anything that could cover this type of hormone reassignment, gender surgery, whatever, either type. The other one is an all-out prohibition with criminal charges for doctors and those that would do that. And so, it's high time that people really get fired up on this. And in your opening comment, there's some, this is just politics. Like, no, if there's any science behind this, it isn't the science about what people's genetic makeup is. It's the science of political science that's pushing this and trying to somehow build a broader coalition for the Democrats under this umbrella.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's the political science that's trying to trounce the real science here when we talk about the fact that we are created male and female. Now, Congressman Lamalfa, you're not standing alone on this because we're seeing tremendous momentum at the state level. A growing number of states, in fact, Texas being the most recent state, that are banning these procedures for minors. So how will what you're doing here come in behind this effort that's already moving across the states and help protect more children?
Well, indeed, if we can do this federally and we can make it stick, we're even in the blue states, the crazy blue states, including my own of California, where, a colleague in the state assembly has introduced legislation to this direction, as well as the one on parental privacy, so to speak. It just can't help but build a grass fire amongst normal folks out there that think this is outrageous. So the issue really is to signal to everybody that there's folks that are intimidated by those that are pushing this, thinking like, well, maybe I'm somehow out of touch and maybe I'm being too mean or I'm too this or that. No, you're not. This is abnormal. This is part of the craziness that's really hit hyperspeed the last 2 or 3, 4 years in this country on all sorts of moral issues, all sorts of issues that are just not healthy for people physically or psychologically. So we're doing a disservice to our kids. All day long on the internet, they're getting hit with all this time. You might be a different gender.
Right.
No, there's something else going on, and probably 99% of them that needs to be addressed, with counseling, with true counseling. Of course, my own state of California says you can't counsel against gender change. I mean, what kind of closed deal is that the legislature?
You are absolutely right. Congressman Lamalfa, we're up against a break, but very quickly, what can our viewers and listeners do to help you get this bill to move forward?
Well, the main thing is to contact your legislator in where you are if you don't think they're on it. We've got over 30 co-sponsors on the House side. I know Senator Marshall is working hard to get co-sponsors on the House side, but just be relentless on calling their offices and saying, if you believe that they're the type of legislator that will co-sponsor, just urge them to get onto the bill, but then to vote yes, get it through a committee process, especially in the House. It's going to be tougher in the Senate, but the House we can get.
We'll do just that. Doug, thanks so much for joining us. Always great to see you.
Thank you.